Hello, my name is Kim Glass, and I am a mom of 3 kids and all grown. I am a Washington State attorney. I am also an Arizona Supreme Court certified legal document preparer, as well as a remote online and mobile notary here in Maricopa, Arizona. And I'm here today in a different capacity for a different situation. And I am so excited to be here to speak with What Now? And I am super excited to do this with my daughter, Nyah. I am just so proud of Nyah. We are going to be sharing about mental health awareness. And I'm so proud of Nyah for just the strength to come on a show like this, share her journey. As she always says, she wants to impact others, share her journey so that other people know you're not alone. You don't have to walk this walk by yourself. And I want other parents, moms, dads, family, to know how important it is to support your child or your family member that has mental health challenges. I'm just so proud of Nyah for all she has gone through. She has worked so hard on herself. She has had quite an incredible journey, and every day she fights to not only secure her mental health, but to help others. And I'm just proud to be her mom, to be able to support her in every way that I can. And we just want people to know that you don't have to walk this journey alone. There are others out there. There's so much help out there, so many resources. Nyah, just want you to know how much I love you, how much I support you, and so proud of you. Thank you, What Now?
Hi, and welcome to the great show, What Now? I'm so excited. I'm here, Chrystal, I'm your host, and I'm here with Christian Lewis, my other host, my co-host. So excited. And we are going to have a great interview today with Kim Glass and her daughter, Nyah Class. And they're living right here in the city of Maricopa. They're not new to the community, but sort of new to the community. And we want you to meet them and hear their story. So I'm going to introduce first Kim. We'd like for you to tell the viewers a little bit about you, why you're here in Maricopa, and a little bit about your story.
Okay. Hi. I came to Maricopa almost a year ago, and I moved from the East Mesa area. Met my boyfriend here and fell in love with Maricopa and him, and then moved here and just really enjoying Maricopa. And Nyah and I both moved from Seattle to Arizona in search of that yellow orb in the sky. And happy to be here today to share some about mental health and being a parent who has had 2 kids that have gone through mental health challenges, and just to be able to bring awareness to the community and help other parents and other other kids really see the benefit of helping with their mental health.
Which is wonderful because a lot of parents, myself included, are going through this, have or will, or are going through it now. Yeah. And for you guys to be so open to come and share your story, it's incredible. It's incredible, first of all, because you're being transparent to the world. That's really difficult, first of all. So thank you so much for doing that. But then you're actually going to help teach us today how to navigate through that. And what about you, Nyah? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
We moved down here almost 6 years ago. I, at the time, was still in school. I was dealing with the COVID era of school, which was everything was online. It made moving here easier because I didn't have to transfer my college. All I did was move, and I didn't tell anybody. But it was almost unbearable trying to get through it because there was no connection with anybody. And I'd been on campus and I'd been going through, high school, middle school, elementary school in classrooms. And that's how I knew how to learn. But I did manage to graduate with a lot of her help. And I have been, just working, trying to find out what it is I want to do as I move through life. And just Yeah, I've been on a long mental health journey pretty much since freshman to sophomore year of high school.
Wow, I have a question too about that. How early did you first, like, at what age did you feel like you were having issues? When did you become aware? Was it in your teens or before your teens, or can you remember
I
that part of
can.
it? Okay.
I started to feel a little bit disconnected from other people
Okay.
at 14.
Okay.
But 15 was when we had a conversation because I had gone through a parent-teacher conference and it was just abysmal. My grades were terrible. I was not reacting to anything my teacher was saying. I just didn't care. I didn't have any life to me. And we had a conversation and I said, I need help or I'm not going to make it.
Wow.
And I had to, at a very young age, I like to say I had to be upfront with the fact that my mortality is in my hands. Like I have to, if no one else says that I need the help, I'm not going to get it and I'm going to die.
Yeah. And she went from, being a student with all A's and in the gifted kids program, and it was a far swing. And I think getting out of the high school setting and going into the college setting in your junior year,
Junior year, yes.
Junior year was a big help. But, and when Nyah said she needs help, we did get a therapist. And, another thing about bringing this awareness to our community, mental health is not something we talk about in the African American community.
Correct.
And it felt sometimes Nyah and I against my ex-husband and his family. My side of the family were very supportive and are still very supportive. And so for me, part of this is, saying to our community, yes, this is something that we should all embrace to help our children. It could be our parents, our siblings, our, whoever, because it doesn't just go to a certain age.
I am so
I'm
glad you
grateful.
brought that up about our family members. So I'm sure that and we can talk about this freely because we're all African American, but in even some other cultures, they don't want to talk about it. But we don't have those issues. That's for other people. We don't handle it that way. We don't do medicine and we don't do therapist.
Right.
So when we come back, we want to get a little bit more involved in maybe the backstory of how you processed it, how you got through it. We'll come right back. Thank you for your time with us at What Now?
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
We're the front line of defending people's constitutional rights.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
The entire apparatus of the state is behind the prosecution.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
It's changed the face of public defense.
It gives me that sense of I'm not doing this by myself.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Children exposed to poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children with good air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this, providing filtration technology to school children with poor air quality through the Clean Air for Kids program, helping kids to breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, removing barriers to learning, reducing sick days, and increasing test scores. This is all key to environmental and climate justice. Find out how you can help at IQAirFoundation.org.
All right, welcome back to What Now, guys. We are here enjoying our conversation with Miss Kim Glass and Nyah Class. Now, before the break, we touched on family support, dealing with the mental health issues. I just want to ask, when Nyah first came to you and she told you what was going on, did you feel like she was completely serious, or how did you handle that?
I felt she was serious. I didn't think it was something she was like trying to make a joke about or prank me or whatever, because of her personality. And then I am very, grateful that my daughter and I have such a close relationship that she would come to me and share this with me. that she was struggling, and I could see it in her grades, because before her grades, she was an A student. She was in the gifted kids program, and then her grades started to decline, and she did become a little more withdrawn.
Okay, so yeah, I think first I want to say that you're pretty sharp for just being able to notice that you were going through a mental health crisis. I feel like it's an issue, like we spoke on before, I feel like it's an issue that a lot of kids go through, but they're not sharp enough, or maybe not focused enough to actually pinpoint what's going on. Now, kind of working a little backwards, so I want to ask you a certain question. At your lowest point, what would you say, how would you coach a kid that went, or that's going through that situation right now?
Great question.
I think what I would say for a lot of people, including myself, your lowest moment is pretty much the point of no return of what a lot of people say. I would, at that point, if I were to be like face to face with somebody who is about to, you know, attempt, I would say that that is not the end, actually. There is, I would explain that, you know, there's the hospital right after, there is the healing from the harm that you've done physically and then mentally, and then you continue on. Because there are so few attempts that are successful. Mine wasn't. So I would encourage thinking about past the point of no return, because there is actually a return.
Okay.
There is something, like, it does not stop. There is only moving forward.
Right.
And I'd like people to know that there is only moving forward.
Right. Now, I heard a pretty cool quote on social media not too long ago. This person said, "We have to go through what we go through today to make it to tomorrow." So now, with that being said, how would you say that just the whole situation, your process, how would you say that shaped the way you approach life today? Because, you know, it's, as we know, it's an ongoing situation, so you have to address it every day, even when you are feeling good. So how would you say your struggles shape the way you approach other struggles in your current life?
It gave me a lot of perspective on how things are actually important versus not important.
Okay.
And then it also gave me perspective on how things affect me based off of my mental health or based off of the reality of the situation, because those things are completely different. Like whether I get upset about how, like, my apartment is treating me versus how I get upset about something that's, like, deeply personal to me. My mental health takes a portion of how that's going and kind of warps it. And I have to be very cognizant of the fact that that is happening. And I take that into consideration every single day, is how does my mental health affect what I'm going through? And then I just take what I've learned throughout treatments and I address it. I address it, I work through it, I talk through it with different people. I feel it before I act. That's a big thing, is experience your emotion before you act as if it's reality.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember,
How enlightening.
I remember Nyah saying to me, her mind will try to trick her into thinking that what she is experiencing is reality. But it's not reality. It's the diagnosis that she has, you know, that she understands that's not reality. But having to think through those different scenarios to pick out what's reality versus what isn't.
Wow, and I know you have allergies like I do. My eyes are running a little bit too, but I do have one quick question. As a parent, as a mom, what mistakes do you see parents making that impact their children negatively? For example, I will just say someone in my family is struggling, and maybe the way it's approached is causing the person, maybe
Yeah.
the child, to push back more. What is the best way to approach something like that? Or what mistakes are you seeing people making?
That's a really good question, and I'm not sure if I've got the right answer. I would say for sure to get them a therapist, and also think about family therapy. I would say, when I look at it from my perspective versus Nyah's dad, and he wanted to almost brush it under the carpet or act like it wasn't there. I think that is a mistake that some parents unknowingly may make, not taking the child or the young adult seriously. I would say getting out of your home environment, because we would go and talk someplace that's more neutral. I think that's something that can be helpful. But I think it's just being aware of our, because as moms, we know our kids, and we know when there's something's a little different. I don't want to say that there's a mistake necessarily, because I told my kids they didn't come with a blueprint. There's no owner's manual. And so it's not necessarily a mistake so much as we just don't know how to navigate it.
Well, if the kid pushes back, what do you do?
Yeah.
How do you
that
navigate?
might be easier for
Okay.
Nyah to answer,
Okay.
because I've not experienced that with Nyah. With my oldest daughter, I did, but that's another whole scenario.
Okay.
Where it wasn't necessarily just pushback, it was just her. That might be easier for Nyah to answer, because I understand
I
what
would
you're
love
saying.
to, I would love to get your input. Let's say I'm talking to a young adult and they're saying, no, I don't want to go to therapy. No, there's nothing wrong with me. I get into it with everybody. I'm just angry all the time. How do you, what could I say to help someone?
I think, and I think this is a general thing with therapy in general, because a lot of people do have the pushback of, I don't want to be different. I don't want this to be real. Because someone had said this to me, a therapist a long time ago, is, once you're in therapy, once you've got the medication, once you've got the diagnosis, then it's real. And then it affects you. And then it's like, but the matter of fact is you have it anyway. Whether you say that you do or not, it affects you anyway. So it's more beneficial to address it than it is to act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I have something I want to kind of add to that while we're on the parenting topic. Now, I feel like in African American homes, there's like especially with us, there's a line that you can't necessarily cross from being like argumentative and having a conversation to being disrespectful. How important would you say it is for you to I guess this question is for both of you guys. How important would you guys say it is to be open to having those heated arguments, but you're working towards a solution? Just with the issue at hand being something sensitive, I can see how an argument or exchange could get heated, and then a parent may shun them because they're now being disrespectful. How important do you guys think that is?
I don't know if this is how you saw them, but it's how I saw them. I've had a few conversations where the intense, untethered anger had come out and it was against her. Because that's just a part of my disease. What I really appreciated is the fact that you recognized that it wasn't really me talking, and that you didn't take it as I'm intentionally trying to hurt you or be disrespectful. It's just that it's my
defense mechanism.
It's the defense mechanism. It's like it's the mental illness kind of making itself known.
Right.
I did really appreciate that. A lot of times when I would get heated, I would blow up, I would have what I call a bipolar meltdown. You were there to be like, it's not really you, or did you talk to your therapist about this, or have you taken your meds today, or have you taken care of yourself lately? you recognize that it's not really me and it's something I need help with. And it's like, it's a day in, day out thing, whether I'm being nice to you or not.
It's true. I mean, and you know, the pushback, that's a hard situation because, you know, like Nyah said, no one wants to feel different. No one wants to feel labeled. And, you know, as a parent, like I said, we know our kids, we know when something's off or different. But as a kid in our society, no matter what background you are, if you're different, you're sort of shunned, you know, or will they lose their friends, or how will people see them? How will us as the parents see their child? And so I don't know what the answer is in those situations other than, you know, maybe say, well, I want to go and get some clarity. I want to go and talk to a therapist. Would you mind coming with me so I could get some help through this to help you?
But as a parent, it seems like you had the emotional intelligence to be able to not take it personal, right? Because I don't think a lot of parents would react the way you do. They're not, wait, who are you talking to? What's going on here? You know, they would take it personal.
Yeah.
How did you? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think another thing that I'm not sure if you realize, but you just said, I don't have the answer. And I feel like that is really big for parents to understand. You don't have the answer. So I feel like it was really big on you to, knowing that you don't have the answer, give her space to be human. Because, you know, it's natural to an extent for someone to be telling you that you have something. You're just going to be defensive. It's natural, whether we have an illness or not. So,
Well, so it looks like we're going to wrap up and come back and continue this really exciting conversation. It's so helpful. Thank you so much. We'll be back. What now?
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Hello, I'm Kent Ojon, founder and executive director of the Black Maricopa Chamber of Commerce. Our mission is to create and grow economic opportunities for Black businesses in the city of Maricopa in the state of Arizona. Since Maricopa is one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Arizona, we feel that the BMCC is a cornerstone of that specific growth and the opportunities that come with that. From networking partnerships and access to capital and financial independence, we aren't just building businesses, we are closing the wealth gap and driving innovation throughout all of Arizona. We recently celebrated the spirit of our community of the Maricopa Desert Music and Arts Festival. Please visit our website at www.blackmaricopacc.com to learn more about us and to join the BMCC. I also want to thank the City of Maricopa for allowing us to film from this beautiful library and cultural center.
All right, guys, welcome back to our episode of What Now? We're going to continue this conversation about mental health. Now, before we left, we were discussing routine and I guess perfectionism and the complications of that. Now, say you have your routine, you're setting your routine and you're really comfortable with it, and you miss a big part of your routine and you're frustrated. How do you address that?
Yeah, basically I would just say is like, you know, frustration with like, you're allowed to feel how something is affecting you. You're allowed to feel, you know, the frustration, you know, you're a little angry at yourself, you're a little bit disappointed, but it can't be an all day, everyday thing. So something that I do to kind of curb like my like emotional kind of dysregulation is like give myself a time period. Like set a timer on my phone, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, a day maybe. And then it's like, okay, you have this amount of time to process how this is making you feel. then we're going to move on and we're going to take on the next day and we're going to try for the routine 100% then. And then also, if you're doing that, if you're processing how it's making you feel in a healthy way, the first time that you mess up on your routine, it gets a little bit easier to mess up on your routine the next day, because nothing is ever 100% 100 times out of 100. But it's better, you'll realize, to do something 50% 100% of the time than do nothing 100% of the time.
You found that it got easier every time you did it, and it was just a process.
Yeah.
So just do it.
Right.
Yeah, mental health is a very just get up and do it type of thing.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but it's really good for you to practice just making yourself uncomfortable for the long run of more comfort in your own head.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk about what you do when it's time to seek treatment. What did you guys do? How did you start that?
Well, that's a good question. That's been a journey.
Yeah.
We were fortunate. I don't remember where I met this therapist in Seattle, Kathy. And I met her somewhere, and we started going to treatment with her. And then when we moved here, treatment was almost shut down because of the pandemic. And we tried to search for therapists, but a lot of them weren't taking people, or we moved here July and they didn't have anything available until like September. And I'm like, oh, we can't wait that long. I was very fortunate. One of my good friends knows a therapist who was treating young adults, Jen. And so Nyah started going to Jen. And then she was with Jen for a couple of years. And then Jen knew someone else and then connected us with Evelina. Was that through Jen?
Psychiatrist, yeah.
And then I'm trying to think, after that, Jen had said Nyah really probably needs more residential care versus therapy once a week or every 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, and that was post my second mental hospital stay.
Yeah.
And finding mental hospitals, that's a pretty much a Google search away, because those are much more like, public. It's not really something you have to have an appointment for. They're also good to connect you with therapists if you go for just an evaluation, if you're not in crisis or emergency as well, which a lot of people don't know, is you can take their resources if they evaluate you and determine you're not in a state of crisis.
Right. Another thing I think was helpful is, because our relationship is so close, and I have the, blessing to have time where I can do research after, Jen was saying, check out these different residential places. I had the time to go, Nyah and I to go together to check out different residential places here. And then, some guidance of what to look for, questions to ask. So I would say, well, what should we ask them? What should we look for? How many people should be in the house? It's just, I think God puts people in our path for a reason. We never know why, but, it has been that these people have directed us along the route. It's like the Wizard of Oz, and somebody takes you on this part of the road. So, but it's being willing to be open and have.
It's not like a one-stop shop thing,
No,
apparently.
not at all.
No,
Not at all.
There's the highest level of care is a mental hospital, which is your crisis mode, and they get you into stability. Then from there, they give you the resources to look into doing residential therapy, which is a 30-day program. Going into PHP, which is partial hospitalization program, which is about 2 months, a month to 2 months. Then going into intensive outpatient, which is another month or 2 months. Then after that, you go into about bi-weekly or weekly therapy. So it's a step down process if you ever find yourself into the highest level of care.
I want to just touch on, there are crises people to call. Like if you feel like your loved one is struggling, you can call the crisis line. They will come to your home and they will assess whoever the person is. And they have so much care and so much resource for helping your loved one to move into being able to get the help and treatment they need.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I would say, don't be afraid to call. We have that on the fridge, you know, just in case. And in my phone, you know, because you just never know. It's not like you wake up and, okay, at 10 o'clock, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
That kind of brings me to another point. As we said, it's not a one-stop shop. So did you guys ever get to a point where you were seeking treatment and you found someone and then you realize, okay, this is actually not helping me. I need to move on. And what do you say to someone who, you know, reaches that point and they feel like, you know, it kind of throws them off the path because it's like, I went and I looked for help, but the help is actually not good. Was it hard to, you know, get back on the path or stay focused and understand that that help doesn't have to be the one that helps me?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question. You know, I actually, in a way, this happened. I was asked to leave a residential therapy center, actually. But that was where I kind of realized, you know, every institution is not going to be right. Every institution isn't going to have the right people for me because, you know, everyone's different. So that was when we moved on to, okay, find the next residential therapy place. And that's where I found the place in California. And then it was also, that was a big blessing because that was the best, like, option was go somewhere where I'm disconnected from, not coddling, but basically I'm disconnected from being...
It's your comfort zone, right?
Yeah, out of my comfort zone. I get to really, like, meet new people, and I get to really dig into who I am, because I'm not thinking about, I leave here and I go to work after, or I leave, when can I go back home, when's my mom gonna visit, because I'm disconnected from all of that. It's just about me now.
And you worked really hard on yourself there.
Yeah. There was a lot to dig through and a lot of the past that I hadn't touched because I was scared. But it's okay to be scared when you're in those places.
Great point. So, and it's okay to say, this facility is not working for me. I'm not giving up. I'm going to try another one.
Yes.
So that I really love that.
I think it's just like our doctors. If we go to a doctor and they're not listening, or we're being brushed off or brushed aside, there's another doctor.
Right.
Please be fine to go to another doctor. Same thing with therapy.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an enlightening discussion, I have to say. And thank you all for sharing with our, you know, viewers. We've learned a lot, and as a parent, I've actually learned some personal, some things personally that will help me, I think, down the road. And we're gonna end up in the show, and I'll end it with you.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming on and sharing your journey, and we're looking forward to checking in with you guys again and seeing seeing
That'd be
what's new
great.
with you all.
Well, thanks for having us. This is really nice.
Great. From What Now? We'll see you next time.